And we're live!
Opa! Orale, wait!
Hey! Welcome to Insert Coin Theater. My name is Tim, as it says right down there.
And my name is George, as it says over there.
And
right here.
And we've got a special guest this episode.
Up here, we have a special friend.
Oh my god.
Tiny icon up there.
Yep. If you squint really hard.
Hey, your icon is bigger than my head. Or about the same size as my head. I'm trying to give you equal space, man.
It's cool.
Hey, look, we even got a little graphic for you, or this bearded guy.
So we have joining us,
Russell,
friend of the show, Mr. Ben Burns.
the infamous Ben B,
aka Abstraction.
AKA.
He is a gentleman who is a chiptune artist. He does music for indie games, and he's just generally
overall,
a swell guy.
Nice bro.
Welcome to the show, Ben.
It's good to have
thank
you back.
you so much for coming back and putting up with us some more.
Yeah, clearly I didn't get enough abuse last time.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't bring out the whips enough last
Yeah,
time.
we should have done like a real pre-show.
We've learned though.
We
Ben.
were
We've
abusing
learned.
him throughout our preparations.
It should be mentioned that during the pre-show, my mic was live and theirs weren't.
Yep.
So I was just getting.
It was beautiful.
It was awesome.
I did an
We're gonna do
epic
that.
belch
We're gonna do
midway.
that. We're gonna do that for everybody. Every guest.
It's gonna be even from.
We're not
you're
even
the
gonna
test
tell
subject,
them. It's
Ben.
just when they come on, we're not gonna tell them and
Well,
just have them talk, and it's just gonna sound like they're talking to themselves the whole time throughout that whole 10-minute period.
Perfect. Like, why is nobody there? Shut up.
Stop.
Do your job.
All right, so we are going to be having some
Lovers. We're gonna have some lovers on the show tonight. His name's Ben, and we love him. And we love him.
Loverly. I was gonna say
because it's
loverly,
gonna
but
get weird.
I hesitated. It ruined.
Yeah,
it
you
ruined the
did
moment.
hesitate, and you
It
make
ruined
me
the
sick.
moment.
Really?
Do I?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't look at you that much.
So so we're gonna be talking about a myriad of things today. We're gonna talk about
nice use of
exclusives.
vocabulary. Give me
Thank you.
5 on that,
Oh
man.
yeah. Talk about game clones. So console exclusive.
Talk about
games
sadness.
Game clones. Nostalgia, and we're also gonna talk about games as art, which is one of our
Games
favorite.
aren't art. Are you stupid?
Idiot.
Sorry.
Which actually I believe we talked about.
from your channel.
Uh-oh. Who'd we lose?
Did we lose Ben?
You still there, Ben?
No.
No. Porque.
No.
It's okay. He seems to have disconnected. When he rejoins, I will drop him back in. There he is.
No.
User was moved to your channel.
Sorry about that. I hit minimize and I must have hit X instead.
Ben, I did an epic battle cry for you too. That you were gone, like you'd been stabbed. No.
So we're going to be talking about games as art, which I think is one of the topics that we covered when you were with us the first time, right, Ben?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's when we were little fetuses, though.
Well, we still are little babies.
We didn't even have live stream.
Yeah.
We cried
We've
a lot
grown.
more back
We've
then.
grown so much, even though we still have the same technical difficulties. And
But we have 60 more people that like us this time.
that is true. Well, no, 66.
Oh yeah. No. I need
66,
To
there we go.
follow you clowns too.
Hey,
Yes.
Ben
Thank
Burns,
you, Ben.
thank you for the follow. You are a true
Beautiful.
champion among gamers. You are greatly appreciated.
We will build a shrine in your honor on the swag wall.
On the swag wall, indeed.
A miniature Ben.
The swag wall.
It'll be baby Ben.
So what have you been up to since
16 years ago
yeah,
when
it feels like forever ago, but
Yeah. I was trying to think of when we last talked, and
you had just finished the soundtrack for Maker's Eden Part 1.
really.
I believe
Wow,
so.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago. It's like
I told you I've had 6
months?
kids since then, man. Little munchkins running around everywhere.
Finished, the Maker's Eden Act 2.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be previewing one of those. Not previewing, it's out. We're going to be listening to one of those songs today. I've finished a couple other small projects. I have a lot of bigger projects that I'm working on now. Mostly just games. A lot of personal projects too, but those never get done because I'm always working on games.
Are you under any legal bindings that we can't hear about these projects?
Not really.
What are they? Give us a hotline, man.
Tell us
What
the
is
story.
it? What are these
What's
amazing
the plot?
games?
Sure. One of them's called the Unearthed Initiative, which is kind of like The Sims meets Minecraft meets I can't remember the other one.
Woohoo!
Like,
Sounds like
kind
a
of
winner to
baseball
me.
So like it's Earth kind of wanted to get rid of all their people that they don't really want on the planet anymore. Kind of like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they kind of shipped all the
Exiled
all the
them.
cleaners. Yeah, they exiled all those. So they kind of shipped all the misfits off to different planets, and you are in control of those misfits, trying to create a base and survive. And you have to deal with everybody's little quirks. It sounds
pretty cool,
It
actually.
is pretty cool, yeah, and they have a pretty good writer on it too.
And
so
and what
it's
was the name of it?
Unearthed Initiative, or the Unearthed Initiative.
I like the way that
There you
sounds.
go, guys. Insert Corn Theater first, Unearthed Initiative. Bam!
Ben Burns.
Mr. B. Burns.
So you're doing the music for that one?
I am, yes. It's only like 6 or 7 songs, and I've finished I think 4 or 5 of them now. So
Almost there, man.
I'm pretty much on the way there. That one's taken a while, but it's been good. It's been a lot of learning. The other one that I've been working on heavily is Magbot, which is going to be starting its Kickstarter fairly soon, I think.
Oh, wow.
I checked that one out. It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's like an exploration-based Metroidvania
What?
that revolves around like gravity and physics and like pushing and pulling stuff.
I need this in my life.
It's really good. There's a demo out already, and I can get you a link to that.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
But
Metroidvania, I'm in. It's my
yeah,
my
it's
jam.
pretty cool so far. It's made by one guy, Gordon Little, and he's super cool. And we've been
Nice.
talking back and forth. And I think we're actually going to be playing one of those songs
Yes,
today
we are.
as well.
That's on the list. Yep.
And,
We're getting all the exclusives today, man. This is amazing.
I don't
They're like
know if
real
it's
journalists.
exclusive, but if you want to, believe that.
If we say it, it sounds better. Don't ruin this for me,
Okay,
Ben.
no, world exclusive.
God.
A world.
I'm trying to get people
fifth.
to actually pretend like they like this show.
It's a world fifth.
Yeah. We're only the 16th people to learn, okay?
Have you come out with any new albums for Abstraction in the meanwhile?
In the
Not
meanwhile.
really. The Maker's Eden Act 2 came out, which I guess was another game soundtrack. I have been working on a couple personal projects, but I've just been swamped with commissions, and I can't really complain about that, I guess.
It's not a bad thing. No.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
that's
like
a
to be
good problem
swamped
to
with
have.
money.
Yeah, well, it's not like they pay a ton, but
Hey, at least people are willing to pay for content that you made. That is just
Yeah, and-
amazing to me.
And honestly, just people willing to pay for art in general, considering so much of it out there is free.
Yeah.
Exactly,
That's a huge honor for me, and I I thank everybody that I work with. I'm super grateful for all of it, so I can't complain.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
you
always an
actually
awesome thing.
you did a song for us actually.
World exclusive.
Oh, see, we're getting. This is incredible.
So I would actually like
I think
to
I
play
just
that.
soiled my
If you've got a
trousers.
sec, I wanna go ahead and get that up and play that because it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty freaking great.
Yeah, it is awesome. Thanks again for that, Ben.
So
Oh,
Great
yeah,
work.
you're welcome.
if I can
It's
find-
marvelous, marvelous.
If I can find where I put the damn thing.
You lost our Ben Burns theme. You make me sick.
Yeah, I lost it completely. No, it's in here somewhere. I just have so many things. Okay, there it is.
I'm sorry this is taking so long, man.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
I have to apologize a lot for Tim.
Let me find this. How do I? For God's sake, nothing ever comes easy.
Now, Ben, did it take you a while to make this song, or did it just like pop right in your head? Like, came to you easily?
Well, I knew what I wanted to do with it
Mm-hmm.
because you guys, I don't know, you guys are still into the chip tunes, so I wanted to focus on the chiptune stuff, but I also know that you guys are kind of moving towards just game music in general. So I kind of have a hybrid between chiptunes and more traditional kind of dance music kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually do have a coin-operated console or like a cabinet in my garage, so I went out and recorded myself dropping some coins in there,
That's awesome.
It's so good.
That is
which
awesome.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, man. It is a great song, by the way, too.
All right, so
It
here we
captures
go.
our essence greatly.
Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and let me get this thing back to 100% volume or close to it. All right, here we go. This is the Insert Coin intro by Ben Burns. Sweet baby Jesus.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Like I
That's-
just sold myself again.
So yeah, that is the
Real
Insert Coin
authentic
Theater.
coin drops.
Oh
Just,
man, I feel like $1 million every time I hear that. It's like we're actually like doing something that has substance.
we're real. It's like we're real.
Thank you, Ben Burns.
We're a legitimate thing.
You can add that to the testimonials on your site. Ben Burns made us feel like real boys.
Made us be real inside.
So thank you very much. We really do
yeah.
appreciate it. That's so good, and we love it. So
Captures our essence.
it does.
It
It's
was,
so
it was a lot of fun to make. It was a wild variety of different things. And it was,
As we are.
I think my favorite part was you were like, oh, I got a huge backlog and it's going to be a while, and then like a day later you're like, hey, I got a prototype. I'm like, what?
It's fully made. Here you guys go,
It's
what?
like, I wasn't expecting that.
well, it's one of those things where you sit down and you're like, okay, so I do have an idea for this. I mean, there's other stuff that I've been sitting around, for months, and I just can't get that hook into it.
Yeah.
And then I found, especially with the chiptune stuff, where it's a lot. You can just do more of whatever the hell you want because you're so limited. I think there's a little bit more leeway when it comes to that type of music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is definitely not a bad thing.
No, certainly not. Well,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
great. I mean that intro just like it fires me up and definitely makes me feel like the show's starting.
good about what we're doing.
Yeah. So now I just gotta get some other things together and get it rolled into a really wicked cool intro and try to do the song justice.
Exactly.
That's gonna be the challenge, I think.
That's gonna take Tim months, unlike it took you a day.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna take me like 4 years.
We'll reveal that whole sequence in 6 months, guys. We'll see you then.
So, we usually go till about 8 o'clock. We may go a little later this time, depending on where our discussions take us. But we're gonna go ahead and start with some discussion, if you're cool with that, Ben.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so. I wanted to start with this topic
you're
because
pulling it off the jump,
right
Oh
off the
my
go.
God.
So,
Right off jump.
So
Street,
I want
you little
to
bastard.
hear George get fired up about this because he is the world's largest Nintendo fanboy. Like,
Just because I have a Mario tattoo on my butt does not mean I'm that big of a fan.
so
I have a Mario tramp stamp, a Triforce tramp stamp. Why has someone not doing that? I feel like that would be
I've seen
awesome.
it done. I'm pretty sure.
Is
it's
it
been
really?
done. Yeah, I think I've seen it done.
I need to see it.
Well, I'm not looking it up
nope,
right
nope,
now.
find it right now. I cannot function until I see a tramp stamp of the Triforce.
You'll be fine. So, so
You see what he does
The
to me, Ben?
topic is people hate exclusives generally. So why does Nintendo get a pass when they have exclusives? Should they be treated equally in the contention around it? I mean, they've got Legend of Zelda. They've got
Mario.
They've got Star Fox. They've got F-Zero.
Samus.
They've got Metroid. They've got Pokemon.
Nintendo's just amazing. That's all there is to it.
All right, so
I think a lot of these is just because there's a legacy behind a lot of them too. Like, I know console exclusives have gone back to like the Nintendo Sega days and everything, but I don't know. There's just such a. I mean, Mario's been out for what, like 30 years now or something.
Yeah, I think that was their last anniversary, I think. Well, plus they've got the people who came up with these ideas, and
Yep.
and Nintendo itself saved the gaming industry as a whole. There's no don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I like console exclusivity, but Nintendo is just Nintendo, and they deserve it because they've worked hard for it. And if people would love to have these other things on their consoles, but why can't they come up with characters on their own that have been this iconic and that you can just... There is probably not a single person that if you say Mario has, doesn't know who that is. You know what I mean? They've built this whole foundation from the ground up, and they just make hit after hit after hit after hit. Like, I have yet to play a Mario game that's not a sports game. Don't get me wrong, not a sports Mario game.
You love Mario Tennis.
That has been bad. Seriously, I don't think I've played a single one that hasn't been bad. Even the RPGs are amazing. Paper Mario's amazing. They've all just been so good, and I think they deserve to have it just for them, and they should keep it forever. And if they don't, I will kill everyone.
All right. Ben, do you have anything to add before I jump into this? Because I got a ways to go.
I think that another reason why the more recent iterations of these franchises is because the Wii and the Wii U aren't really in the same league as the Xbox and PS4.
Oh, not at all.
So it's not really something that could physically be ported over into other consoles. As well as it's just in its own league, whether or not that's better or worse. It's not really associated with other consoles the same way.
I would almost feel betrayed, honestly, if Mario was on another console.
My eyes are rolling so hard they may pop out. All right. I'm gonna have to say, George, I love you, bro, but you are so wrong.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay, you're not wrong, and that's the wrong way to put it, but I disagree pretty vehemently. All right, okay. You're right. They saved the gaming industry. That was in the past. Back when exclusives were a way of, that was just the way of life. That was just how it was. It was either come up with your own IP or die. But we're becoming this more metropolitan. Game franchises are more often shared across everything. I mean, look at Final Fantasy. That used to be exclusive to Sony consoles. But now that's spread across every console, PC, and everything. So Nintendo, while, yeah, they do have a lot of legacy, they have no excuse not to expand their brand. I mean, think about it. A Mario game, a really ridiculously good Zelda game like Wind Waker or something like that, ported over to the PlayStation consoles. It would still be the same game. It would just be on a PlayStation. You know how many more people would pick that up? How many more people you're opening up to? I have not bought a Wii U because I don't want to buy into their, crazy gimmicky handheld thing. And on a personal level, that's a sale that they're missing out on, because I have the money to buy one. I could go down and buy one right now if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to, because I don't feel like, as a console, all they have is exclusives. That's it. They don't have any third-party support, which I think hurts them a lot more than it helps them. And if they would just...
I mean, look at Mac or Apple. It's the same thing.
Well, and all the other consoles still have their own exclusive characters and
universally,
games.
That fact is reviled. Everyone's like, why isn't Halo on PC? Why isn't Gears of War on PS4? Blah, blah, blah. Because everybody hates that. The idea is that Nintendo should not get a free pass anymore.
Well, so neither should anybody else, because they're still Uncharted. That whole series will never be on any other console. Halo will never be on any other console.
I'm not saying they have to change, but I'm saying they don't get the same treatment as all these other companies. That's my point. That's what I'm coming at, is that Nintendo, a new Mario game comes out, everyone loses their minds. They're like, Mario! A new Tomb Raider game comes out that's at least time-locked exclusive to Xbox One. Everyone's like, that's stupid. They're dumb for doing that. This is retarded, And why doesn't Nintendo get the same flack? Splatoon is exclusive to the Wii U. That game would be amazing on another console. You can't tell me it wouldn't be. That would be perfect for an Xbox One or PS4. So why is nobody like, Nintendo, you're a bunch of morons?
Because those games that are, like the example you give, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider, when the first one came out just recently before this one, it wasn't a time exclusive. It was on everything. It's stupid now because this second copy that everyone enjoyed from the first one is only for Xbox. But Nintendo from the beginning has always been Nintendo, and it's always been their own. I think it bothers people if they got to play the first one and then now they don't get that one unless they own an Xbox. I think that's probably what bothers them more than the simple fact that it's just Xbox, because that was, hey, everyone, try this game. It's on everything. It's really amazing. And you play it. Oh, this is awesome. And now you really want the second one, but it's only on Xbox.
Right.
But with Nintendo, I understand you. The reason that you don't want to buy a Nintendo product is because it's gimmicky. If Nintendo's NX came out and it was a legitimate controller PS4 style, just packed with power, you would buy that Nintendo console to play a Mario game or a Zelda game. You know you would, because the gimmicks is what bothers you more than anything else.
And the gimmicks is kind of what sets it apart too. Like you were talking about Splatoon, I don't know how they would port that over, because there is stuff that has to be done on the actual, like, the touch screen.
Well, they have the touchpad on the PlayStations now too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But
let me interrupt real quick. Error Macro 7 says, "Hi guys, hi
Hey,
Error
how's it
Macro."
going?
And he
Thanks for
followed, so
joining.
thanks for the follow. We appreciate that. And Rajashilo says it's better for everyone to spread the games, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I think that the exclusivity with Nintendo shouldn't be as bad as it is. But
it's just a business
Now,
standpoint.
okay,
That,
let me
it's a
add
smart
this.
business decision if you're trying to sell your hardware.
And I agree with you, because it's what they do, and that's the only thing that moves their consoles, because they don't have that third-party support.
Yeah.
But to me, if they even made a Pokemon game for mobile, like just for Android and iOS, it would sell tons. So my
But
ultimate
yet
question...
it sells DSs. You know, what's the point? If they can sell... If they release a Pokemon game, that's going to push hardware, guaranteed.
Right.
You know, that's going to sell DSs because you have those hardcore fans that want that product. So why would you put it on something else where people already have, when you can just release it and keep it exclusive to your hardware, forcing people to buy your... It's just a smart business decision if you want to move product.
But it's also a bad business decision, because you're... for people to get that game that they want, you're forcing them to make an investment into a hardware that they may not like, or they might not get anything out of it. But at least
any
with the,
hardware
But
you
at least
buy.
with the PS4, you're guaranteed some cross-platform acceptance. You have a lot of games that you'll get. You'll still get Tomb Raider eventually. They announced a release date for that for PC and
Next
PS4. No Man's Sky you'll get as a time exclusive. There's a lot of different games that you're going to get. You'll get those quality third-party games, but with Nintendo, most of the third-party games are absolute garbage.
Yeah, well, that's just because I think they don't have the power. You know, if they were up to the same level as a PS4 and an Xbox, the third parties would be there. The third parties aren't there now because it just can't run like they need it to be as advanced as these games that are coming out now. It just can't do it. You know what I mean? It's not. They cannot pull it off, and they're not willing to sacrifice their game to, you know, drop it down to the specs of a Wii U.
Right.
That's
but I think
that's
the
the only
issue
reason, I
here
think.
is why the community as a whole doesn't give Nintendo more crap about it.
Yes, that's the crux of the issue. Is they do it, and it's their business model, but they should get just as much crap as everyone else. But every time a new game is announced, everybody's like, Jesus is coming back. You know, they're like, it's, oh my God, you know, thank you, base Nintendo, you're the best.
Because the product's good. It's a good product.
But when Halo 3 was announced, everyone knew that was going to be amazing, and everyone was like, it still sucks that Halo's an exclusive to Xbox. It fanned that console war flame where you had the fanboys going, oh, well, you know, Xbox people, all they have is Halo, and blah, 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 and Halo sucks because it's over there, and you know, typical jealousy fanboy thing because they want the game on their console. And with Nintendo, they come out with it and everyone celebrates it. That's where my problem is that they don't get enough crap for it.
Yeah.
And it's their business model. It's the business model of everyone. I'm not saying that it's going to change, because it's never going to change.
You'll never get rid of
but
console
I'm-
exclusivity. It's just never going to happen.
The whole point I'm trying to make is that they should get treated the same exact way as the other consoles for having exclusives.
But just what I don't get is why. What does it matter? Like, you're never going to change any consoles till the end of time are going to have exclusives because they need to sell that console. That console, the best way to sell hardware is software. If the games are there and you can only play this amazing AAA title from them, that you're going to buy that console. You're going to, because that's where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, for all the Halo fans, they're going to buy an Xbox for Halo.
Yeah.
People who like Uncharted and all that, it's going to sell a console. And I think that's just what they're going to have to do. You know, regardless, I think Nintendo, once they come out with a console that's as powerful as everything else, it's going to be just up there with everybody else. You know, it'll have just as many third parties as a PlayStation and an Xbox. It's just if they're going to do that or not.
I don't think they ever will. I don't think they'll ever have a powerful console again. I truly
They don't need to.
Yeah, that's
Their focus isn't on graphics. Their focus is on gameplay.
right.
Yeah, it could even still be focused on gameplay, but just put the hardware in there for the third parties to bring your third parties in.
But their whole shtick is, like you said, they make their exclusives to sell consoles, and the only way they're going to sell consoles is if they're cheap. So they've got to have inferior hardware to bring in those sales.
But I don't
at a
know if
lower
that's
price.
necessarily true. If it was up there, I think people would buy it. I really do, just purely for their IP. You know, could you imagine?
Of course, some
a
people would.
PlayStation
I'm not s-
4
but the
style
problem is
Legend
how,
of Zelda game?
how many people will buy it. That's where the problem comes in. I mean, you can sell 50 consoles based on Zelda.
Yeah.
You're not going to, that's not enough consoles to float an entire an entire generation.
Yeah.
So
Well, they're absolutely destroying the handheld market, though. There's nothing can keep up with them. In
the
there.
Vita hasn't had any good games come out for it.
That's
in
what I mean. The
3
IP
years.
sells it, man. That's what I'm telling you.
A lot of
If
people
they-
claim that the DS never really got any good games for the first couple of years either.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was the Wii U still, even
Well,
when
that's
it first came out.
Oh, does the Wii U have good games?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Like 3?
Mario games, bro.
Oh God, how many Mario games? Like 3?
Yeah. That's all I
Splatoon?
need.
Oh, 4 games. I'm sorry.
You already said you'd buy Splatoon, all right? Now you're just hating to hate.
No, I'd buy. No, I'm just being a jerk.
I know, that's what I mean. You're just hating to
I'd
hate
buy
now.
Splatoon in a heartbeat if it was on another console.
Yeah. I think that's just how the game industry works, and I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, and it's fair enough to disagree. There's
Yeah.
nothing
Oh
wrong
no,
with it.
God.
Ben, do you have anything else you want to add to this topic?
no, not really.
Yeah, I had to do that one because I knew it would get us fired up because that's one of those really good ones. So, all right, let's take a look. Let's go talk. Well, let's do a song, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do one of Mr. Ben Burns' songs. So why don't we do talk a little bit about Magbot OST?
Sure.
So
What do you want to hear?
have you finished the music for that game?
I've done 3 of the initial 6 songs.
Okay.
The Kickstarter that Gordon's running is mostly just to fund the music and I think a couple other small things.
Sweet.
So I think all of the stretch goals are just for more music for the game, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping it does well because from the songs that I've written so far, and there's another one on my SoundCloud aside from the one that we're going to play today.
Are you doing all the music for the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I really love the 3 songs I've written so far, and I hope that I can do many, many more of them.
Good.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're gonna hear a song. Before we go into that, Devious Furball says, but Nintendo does niche games. They do games for kids. They do kids games, right? They do. They're aimed at kids. He says he views the Wii as an entry to gaming and nothing more, like the learn the alphabet ABC of gaming. It's a good entry system. It's a good gateway drug.
It's probably the easiest one to get into, but
And I would agree
I
with
think
that.
their games. I can't say that they're all purely for kids. You know, because there is a lot of depth in Mario games. Like you can do speed runs, fully beating the game 100%.
Yeah,
There is challenges.
But their aim is kids. They're all rated E. They're all aimed around getting kids to play games.
I don't think
I
Bayonetta 2 is
disagree.
rated E.
Which one?
What is it, Bayonetta 2 or whatever with that?
Yeah,
That
but
was an
that's not a
exclusive.
Nintendo game though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Nintendo made
Yep.
Bayonetta? Oh, I didn't know that.
It was part
It's
of
only
the
on there.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's-
That's actually a Nintendo IP. That's developed by Nintendo.
No.
No, but that's my point. Is I'm talking Nintendo games.
yeah.
Of course, Bayonetta is intended for an adult audience. I would be wow. I'd be a horrible person if I said yeah, Bayonetta's for kids.
Depends on your
only little
child, man.
babies will play Bayonetta. Having
I like to
boobies
start
fly
my kids
everywhere.
off with that early.
All right, so we're gonna hear Boss Music 2 from Magbot OST.
Yeah, I haven't thought of a good name yet.
Smash Brothers.
What? For
No,
the
not the
song?
name, not the name.
Oh, it's still
rated
aimed.
T.
It's still aimed. Is it rated T? Yeah, but it's a competitive fighter. Okay,
So
that's their
what?
1T game. Sorry,
There you go. My point proven.
it's still an entry console. Yeah, that's your whole point. Is
end.
one game.
The end.
I'm right. One game.
You've been served.
All right.
So
So
them bells ringing. Somebody just got schooled.
all right. So oh boy, I didn't do anything to set this up properly. So give me just a second. You'll oh my god.
Exactly.
You'll see a break screen that's going to be teeny tiny. I apologize in advance. We're going to go do it and listen to the song. We're back,
We made it.
and that was
Infamous Ben Burns.
some dude named Ben Burns. He did a little song
bro. Some
for
guy.
some game called like Magbot or something.
He's pretty sweet.
That was boss music too. Actually, that was really awesome.
I
It was
liked
just
that.
like
It was awesome.
I really did feel like I was fighting a boss. I was
Seriously,
punching
I could-
George the whole time.
I could pop some melons to that song with a high caliber
It
rifle.
actually, it's like something that could fit into the soundtrack of Dirty Bomb. It actually was pretty close to some of the songs in that.
Addicted to that game.
I'm addicted.
Seriously,
I stream
Dirty
it like
Bomb is
every
crystal
day.
meth.
It is pretty much. It's one of those games.
I only like my bombs clean.
One of those games that I'm pretty hooked on. Really, really loving it. Sorry. All right, I'm getting off of.
Jeez, are you gonna drool any more about Dirty Bomb?
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay. See, this is about Ben Burns today, not Dirty Bomb.
All right, so
Sorry, Ben.
let's talk a bit about
That's cool.
let's talk a bit about
A bitty bit bit bop bit bop.
bitty bop bop boop, bitty bip bop bop boop.
Rascally.
I'm the
Christopher Reeves.
scat man. All right, so let's talk about nostalgia.
Hold on a second. Speaking about Scatman, since you brought it up, like 2 months ago, I was driving down 301 with my sister, and we're just blasting Scatman, and some guy pulls up next and goes, "Yeah!" I was like, "This is amazing." And he was just loving Scatman. I was like, "Yes, we're now best friends."
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. It was awesome. Anyway, so what were you saying?
All right, so nostalgia. Are we overlooking good game mechanics in exchange for clinging to the past? So the question here is, look at Morrowind. Okay, many claim that Morrowind is a superior game to Oblivion and Skyrim. All right, but they fail every time they talk about how the story is so much bigger and there's so much more to do and there's all this stuff. They claim that it's just better, and they overlook the fact that mechanically it's completely inferior. I mean, there's like it's
Skyrim's inferior or Morrowind's inferior?
No, we're talking Morrowind
is better. Oh, okay.
Mechanically, Morrowind is inferior to Skyrim and Oblivion.
Okay.
Naturally, because of the progression of time. But a lot of people get those nostalgia goggles on. I have done it before, I will admit. But a lot of people get those nostalgia goggles on and completely overlook the bad parts. That's part of nostalgia goggles. So, I guess the crux of this discussion is not necessarily why this happens, but maybe where you've seen it happen frequently, and like maybe we can uncover some of those games, such as Morrowind, which overall, mechanically, because it's not as refined as Oblivion and or Skyrim. How is it truly inferior, except for maybe lore? Of course, the story is fantastic, but you try to play that game, you spend 20 hours. You know, the quests give you vague directions. You go ask somebody for directions, they point you in the right the right way to go. But you spend 20 hours and you forget about that quest. You have no idea what you're doing. You've completely lost your place. There's no quest markers. There's no hints as to where it even began to go figure it out.
Do you think that maybe it's not more inferior, they just hold your hand less?
No, that's interestingly, that's one of the arguments that I see pop up a lot. Is you get a lot of these folks who say, "Oh, well, you're just not doing it right. You know, you're not trying hard enough." But
I don't know about that. I think just I feel like I didn't play much of Morrowind, but
well,
can I give you more
examples?
Just from what you were saying, that they, if you follow the quests, it's very vague. In all the games now, I feel like they tell you exactly where to go, so there's no exploration really unless you choose to just do something else. You know exactly where to go. What was that, Ben?
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying I don't know if it really makes it inferior then, rather than just it's a different way of playing. It's not so straightforward. You go exactly right there, and it shows you the whole way while you're going.
No, but it's not on rails. There's nothing stopping you from going in that direction and then taking a right turn and going 50 miles out of the way, or going around a mountain and finding 10 quests along the way.
Yeah, but either way, like you said, once you go off, you're lost and you can't figure out how to get back to that quest, right?
In the original game, there were no markers.
You could always just in Skyrim click your quest and it'll tell you exactly where to go every time, no matter what quest it is. Even if you picked up a quest and you played 20 more hours, and then you just be like, "Oh, I forgot to do the beep," and you can go right there, and it's just a lot easier, maybe I would say, rather than
easier. Yes, but if you really want that difficulty, can't you just walk instead of fast travel? Or
yeah, but you'll still always know where to go. You're not
is that
really
a bad thing?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I don't want to say that a game is inferior because the mechanics are different.
No,
you know what I mean.
But the thing is that let me specify why the mechanics are inferior. All right, so there were random number generated chances to hit in that game. So you would swing. It would be obvious you're slashing across their face, and yet it's a miss.
Okay, see there, I could say that's okay.
I apologize for not specifying sooner, but that's one of those.
I can say that then. Yeah,
damage is random number generated based. I mean, it's not based on your stats or level or anything. It's like you would swing and you could crit for 80 and kill a monster.
Oh my god,
or
that
whatever.
sounds horrible.
It's crazy, and so in in Skyrim, you swing.
Your
and
numbers
you hit them,
matter. Yeah.
It hits them. You're gonna hit them. If they're 50 levels above you, though, you're not gonna do any damage.
Yeah.
You're just gonna piss them off. So
that might just be because of the mechanics, like just the computer processing power these days compared to back then too, where it's just like hitboxes and all this other stuff. I don't know how resource intensive that stuff is, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I guess then maybe just technically inferior.
That's a good point, and of course it's technically inferior. I mean, just naturally
couldn't do what they wanted to. Maybe that's why it's just hard for me to like fully just say a game is, inferior. And I understand, nostalgia goggles are a real thing. You can look past the fact that something doesn't work like it should because of the simple fact it's such and such. You know what I mean?
And I want to say something real quick. Devious Furball just had a really good question for Ben, and we'll get to that in just a second after we wrap this topic up, because I feel like it's going to be pretty short. So, getting back onto this one, games like, let's look at Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2. So many people were like, space battles are so much better, blah, 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 blah. They're so great. We're not going to have those, so therefore this game sucks. Are those nostalgia goggles blinding us to the fact that they're going to do amazing things with the new Battlefront? It looks like you are in the Star Wars universe versus Battlefront 2, which looks like you're playing a cartoon of Star Wars.
It's a lot to do with people don't like change. The brain likes routine.
So is that part of nostalgia goggles, or do you think that's just people being?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because if to them, I don't know why I'm talking like they're this separate thing, but gamers, they get a specific feeling from playing that game, and they remember specific things that they did, like how fun space battles were.
Yeah,
so they want that in the next game, so they feel like, oh no, if it doesn't have that, they're going to lose part of what they experienced from when they were playing the games before, which scares them.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Exactly. It is powerful.
Question for Ben or George. Have you gone back and played Battlefront 2?
No, I haven't.
It is abysmal.
Is it?
compared to modern shooter conventions, it is so janky. Like, it's just so wibbly in terms of everything.
Well, that's like, remember how I was telling you I just recently went back and played Shadow Colossus?
Yeah. Oh, it was brutal, huh?
Horribly, the worst controls.
You see,
I think
but that's an effect of nostalgia goggles not clouding your view. So, Ben, have you had any instances like that where you've gone back and played a game and you're just like, oh my god, this is what was I thinking?
Yeah, I actually have just been playing Torchlight 2 because a buddy was talking about it, and I got so used to Diablo 3, where Torchlight is kind of a hot mess.
Yeah, it has it's closer to Diablo 2 than 3.
I love Diablo 2.
Go back and play it.
Itemization, like all of the stats and all the other stuff, it's just not streamlined.
No.
A lot of the quests, like just the flow of the game is just all over the place compared to just Diablo 3, and a lot of people didn't like Diablo 3 when it came out. I can concede that, but in the state that it's currently in,
much better.
It's just a superior game.
Much better. Yep.
Even compared to Diablo 2 in a lot of respects, even though I know that's heresy for a lot of people.
The only thing I wish that I could change, I don't know, you might even be able to, like if you plug into a controller, but I really do feel like I like the experience of Diablo 3 better on a console. Just because for some reason Diablo has always felt like did you ever play like Gauntlet? Do you remember those games?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it always felt like to me, and I felt like I don't really like the click to run to here and all that. I never really enjoyed that, but when it came out on consoles, I felt like it felt so much better to play it like that. Have you played it on the consoles or only on PC?
I haven't played it on the console, but I've watched a couple videos of people playing on the console, and it looks like they made it into a very good couch game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, couch co-ops. Yeah, it's a lot of fun like that. It just feels like I have more control that way. Like when I really like it to where my skill helps me in a game. I can actually, like, when I want to run away rather than try to click away and hopefully run. It's like I like to be in more control.
Direct control.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it feels a lot better when I can walk around and do things when I choose to, rather than you click over here and your guy just tries to run. You know what I mean? It just feels a lot better. I don't know if you can plug a controller into the PC and it works like that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't believe it does.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and change gears to Devious Furball's question, because it's a killer question for Ben, and I'm interested in hearing what your response is to this. So he says, question: I see Ben as an artist, but how close is the artist attached or involved with the culture itself? What games does a musician appreciate? As a voiceover, he does voiceovers, just to let you know. He does voice acting. I constantly find myself critiquing the voice actors in games, positive or negative. Is it similar for yourself?
Well, I guess I'll start with the first one. I'm guessing you're saying how close I am with the gaming community. But I am pretty close to it. I can't say that I play a ton of games anymore just because I'm busy working on music for those games. But I do try to keep very close to the indie development community, because that's where I find a lot of my work. And I am always finding new games and just talking to new people. And that's how I found Magbot, just because a friend of a friend, I just saw it on his Twitter feed, and I started talking to Gordon, and that's how we started working together. It was a lot of fun. And there's another really cool little indie game called Ink that was floating around for a while. I think it's getting close to release. That I have a lot of my music on SoundCloud that's just free for people to use in their games. And he was using that song in his demo, and unfortunately I didn't get the job for that one. But the game still looks really cool, and it's just another person that I was able to connect with. So I'm not as huge of a gamer as I once was, just because I don't have the time for it. But I definitely keep up on the community in general.
Yeah, what's happening in there.
Yeah. And I'm more focused on the indie scene than kind of the AAA, but I did enjoy following E3, and it was actually a very good one this year, which was awesome.
God, it was.
It was
yes,
very
it
good,
really was.
We did 3 episodes coverage on it.
Yeah,
So.
I think I listened to one of them while I was prepping for this.
But the
Excellent.
future looks good for games.
It does.
I'm very excited.
So thanks, Furball, for the question. He actually also added for our last conversation topic. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, God. As a gamer, there will always be things you don't like, but you make an exception for, like the FF7 battered wife syndrome. Many old games don't hold up today, but you remember the best bits, not the loading times, not the disconnected combat, or the bad sound, etc. And
the feeling, man, the feeling you got when you
that's
played those
part
games.
of that's part of why I try to. I've been lately trying to avoid going back too far into games to replay them unless I know they hold up. Like one of my favorite games is Uncharted Waters 2: New Horizons. I started replaying that, and actually, I'm having an even better experience playing it
than your first time.
than when I was a kid, and the nostalgia comes back, but because I
appreciate it.
I have more knowledge because
Exactly.
it's a historically based game. It's not super accurate, but it's based in history. I actually have a familiarity with the geography and the time period, and the actual vessels and what they're made of and all that stuff. It's fascinating. It's so much more enriching to play it now than it was when I was a kid. So every once in a while there are those exceptions, but for the most part, when I beat a game, I try to leave it beat. So
Yeah.
because I really don't think the experience you get the first time is always the best time.
Yes.
With most things, it's just you get those feelings because when you play it, it's all brand new, and when you go back to it, I feel like you almost start to analyze it a little too much.
Right.
You start picking it apart rather than just appreciating it for what it. Because like 7, like I always like to go back to that example because it does not look good.
No.
Like if you go back to it, it is like, are you in prison? What is this? But when you first play it, that didn't matter. It was just the whole ambiance of everything and where you were.
It's magic.
Yeah, and even like where you were in your life,
Right.
Really affects how you feel during these games, and it's just
So
leaves
many
such
things
an
factor
impression
in.
on you.
Yeah.
Exactly, and if you go back, you're not recreating. You can't go back to that time in your life to how you were when you first played, and I think that just makes a huge difference
Yep.
too in how you felt.
Yep.
So it's like I have to agree with you there that I tend to just try to leave it be once I do, and just remember how good it was from my memory rather than seeing it over again and be like, oh God,
Yeah.
how did I enjoy this?
Hey Ben,
Yes.
I realized that I cut you off a little bit in the middle of your question responses. I mean, you. Yeah, I apologize. I just got so excited because it's like, yeah. Please continue. I apologize.
No, and I wanted to add to what you guys are talking about. It's a little bit of a deviation from games, but I've been watching Star Trek: The Next Generation again.
Yeah.
Because I grew up watching those with my dad, but I never actually watched all the episodes.
Wesley?
And I saw that they were on Netflix a couple months ago, and I've been slowly going through them. And
That's actually exactly how it was with my dad.
yeah, during the first season, I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? Because the first season was very rough.
It's one of the worst,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, now I'm in like season 4 now, I think, and just every episode is incredible.
Yep.
And so I'm super glad that I'm reliving that nostalgia. I remember probably about 20% of the episodes, but it's definitely like worth to go through and like revisit all of those. So I can totally agree with what you guys are saying there. As for Devious's question, what games does a musician appreciate? Me specifically, I really like games with a good creative direction. Games that actually have made conscious decisions about certain things, like the music of Fez, where it's super lo-fi.
So good.
It's designed to be integrated into the game rather than set on top of it as kind of window dressing.
Weaved right into the whole experience.
Yeah, and not only just the music, but the actual sound effects are designed to interact with the music, and it's all very intentionally placed within the game. And same thing in a different kind of perspective, where the music is just so well done. Like Supergiant Games is Bastion and Transistor.
Oh my god, so good.
Where it's just I can't remember the name of the musician if he's an in-house guy, but it's just everything that he does is just dripping with like the world that it's made to be in. You know?
It fits perfectly with the whole environment. Yeah.
Very consciously designed music for the games, and I can find that in a lot of things. But there's a lot of times when I'm playing a game, it just kind of feels like that they commissioned something or they found something that just kind of can sit on top and
just slapped it on real quick.
Yeah, and I know that it's up to the gamer's interpretation for the music as well. Like I'm sure some people play the Maker's Eden and are just kind of feel the same way, but it's that feeling that you get when you play something. It just feels like it's just helping everything to come together as one united piece of art rather than like all these separate kind of things working together.
Do you find, like he was also saying, do you find yourself critiquing other people's work in games when you're playing them, or do you just kind of
the voiceover work or
the music?
The music,
yeah,
because he was saying that he
as a
critiques,
voiceover
contributes.
artist, yeah.
Yeah, and I do that too. Most soundtracks I do enjoy listening to, I buy way too many game soundtracks, and even if they have their flaws, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad.
Yeah, no. It's agreed.
I definitely do listen to soundtracks, and I do critique them either consciously or unconsciously. So yeah, I guess I do. But I also do voiceover stuff on the side as well. In a past life, I was an e-learning developer, and I had to do all my own modules for voiceover. So.
Oh, we learned something new
Yeah,
about
I didn't
Ben
know
Burns.
that, Ben. You keeping secrets, man.
And Ben, just to let you know, it's Darren Korb is the composer for Bastion and Transistor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and going back to Bastion and Transistor, I can't say that word today. The voiceover actor for those games blows my mind every time.
The narrator guy?
Yeah.
In Bastion
He's
too
amazing.
is just.
It's
I
the same
really
guy for
loved
both
it.
of them.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah. It's
so
the same guy
good.
for both of them, and that's half the reason I bought that game when I initially found it. Just because he had that the narrator going over the trailer, and I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, no, sometimes some people just have the voice that really draws you, and
Oh yeah.
It's like Morgan Freeman.
Devious Furball has that voice.
There you go.
I've gamed with him. He's got a crazy voice. Shout out to Devious Furball. it's like that deep, like he's got the English accent, and you could just like listen to him like read you "Go the F to Sleep" by Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm telling you,
and just
it's
be like, all right, whatever.
Morgan Freeman is the same way for me.
Yeah,
I can hear him
it's
narrate.
like that Morgan Freeman voice.
Some guy going to the bathroom, and I'm just like, this is amazing. He's a genius.
It's about right. It's about right. So, all right. So, let's go ahead and let's go to another song. Why don't we look at something from the Maker's Eden Dos Part Deux
Dos.
Redux. It's not really the name. I apologize.
It's Redux? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's. I'm just.
So this song is actually a bonus track to the album. I didn't really choose any of the gameplay songs because they're all like 9 minutes long each, and that would probably
would not work
be
well.
ideal for the podcast. But I can throw up a link for the album if people want to listen to the whole thing. It's free.
Yeah,
to
definitely
stream
throw
on
it up.
Oh yeah, and I'll put it up on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And post them on Twitter and Facebook and stuff too, so everybody's aware. Has a chance to listen.
Yeah. So the premise of the Maker's Eden is it's kind of like this point and click sci-fi noir adventure. So it's very jazzy, but also kind of with these electronic music elements. The bonus track, I can talk about how that came about in after the song, but it's not really canonical in the point of the game, but it relates to robots and a lot of other cool stuff. So.
Awesome.
Very nice. I like robots.
Yeah, I am a fan
All
of
right.
the bots.
So this song is titled "A Perfect Future," which this one has a name.
Yay!
Boss Music 2
It
doesn't.
actually has me. Well, it's not singing; it's vocoding. So you'll hear my voice.
Cool.
Sweet.
I approve.
Enough of it.
I know. Gosh, we just need to soak it in.
All right, so we will be back shortly. Have a listen to by Mr. Ben Burns, aka Abstraction, "A Perfect Future" from a Maker's Eden, the Maker's Eden Act 2.
Dos.
I can't speak English today, and here we go.
That was freaking sick, Ben.
It was so good.
Seriously, that
So
was like
that was-
I was in Tron. That was amazing.
That was a perfect future.
That really
by
was
Mr.
a
Ben
perfect
Burns, our
future.
guest here.
I want to be in that future because it was awesome.
Yeah.
Those robots.
Oh man, that guitar bit at the towards the end was just so legit. I just love how that just comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, oh man,
I'm in.
yeah. Where do I sign up?
I'm still learning guitar, but it's getting there. It took me like 1,000 takes.
Right. You nailed it.
Yeah, it's really good. So it works.
Yeah.
Works. So yeah, Furball says that it's very Blade Runner-y.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, it kind of is. There's a bit of a story behind that one. I haven't really lately, but I used to participate in a Reddit group called 2 Hour Track Sundays, where people would get together and be given a theme and just have 2 hours to create a song. And the theme that week was A Perfect Future, and I just kind of went nuts with it. And while the finished product wasn't done in 2 hours, I did get a pretty good like scaffold of the song to work with.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics, if you I got them by going to Google and typing in like A Perfect Future and just taking like the first 4 like autocomplete search results.
At least it wasn't like A Perfect Future. How do I get my arm out of this shark's mouth or something?
But yeah, it's just like in A Perfect Future there will be robots and everything is chrome.
Nice.
And
Yep.
It's like, yeah. So
Everyone looks
there's-
like Daft Punk.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so that was brilliant.
Seriously,
and, yeah,
amazing.
You are amazing at what you do. And
I wish I had talent.
Come on,
George.
we're hosting a podcast.
so talented.
I know that takes a lot of talent, Ben. Thanks. And I gotta bottle some of that up for later. God. Man, I think I broke Tim.
Yeah, you killed me. I'm dead. All right, so this last discussion topic we have is a big one. So we're kind of out of time for any others. So this one I wanted to touch on because the first time we had you on here, Ben, we talked about games as art. Okay. And that's such an important topic. As always, it's always an important topic. And so the question, this is a multi-pronged question. So we're going to start with the first question.
Prong. Sorry.
You're such an idiot. What are some things you have heard on the video games are just mindless entertainment field? So versus them being art versus mindless entertainment. So
What have I heard, or what are my opinions?
well, what are your
I
opinions?
was about to say,
look,
look, talking about this so I
it
can
was
kill
like
them.
2 in the morning when I wrote these questions. Leave me alone.
Tim was like, "What are people games?"
What are in game entertainment?
I mean, this goes a little bit back to Devious's question. Just the conscious like decision making process for crafting a game is, I feel, one of the large aspects for what determines whether that game is an art or not. Like if you look at the Call of Duty series or something like that.
Don't get me started.
It's designed to be churned out every year.
Cash grab.
Madden.
While
Things
there
like
there is art like in those games, like it's definitely artful. It's not really the same as art that's being created
BioShock.
to express. Yeah, it's being created to express something. And yeah, so like BioShock, especially the first one, where they didn't have anything, to work off of.
Yeah.
You were basically thrown into this world, and you had to learn while you experience it, like learn the aspects of that world.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with anyone who says that it's mindless entertainment, because just playing the games in itself isn't just mindless. It takes a lot to be able to master any kind of activity in a game. It's not, you don't just sit there and just press one button, and then your game's completed and done. You got to put takes actually skill, to beat some games. So to say it's just mindless is just asinine, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you for the most part, but I think a lot of it has to be taken on a per game basis.
Well, yeah,
Because I mean, as a whole, the medium, yes, it is art. It is an expression of many people's talents, time, and visions to present a game to people.
Yeah.
However,
and I wasn't trying to say that like some games aren't art. Like I just the fact that they were created at all like kind of defines them as
Takes
artistic.
some kind of
And even the Call of Duty series, like the single player campaigns, they're generally very masterfully done. It's just nobody plays them because that's not why they buy Call of Duty.
Exactly. What the sad part is if I buy a Call of Duty game, it is for the campaign and not about the multiplayer, because the multiplayer is like my least favorite part.
Yeah,
and
I log in, get destroyed for like 5 minutes and quit.
Like I think it was Modern Warfare 2 or 1 with that whole sniper sequence where you had to like sneak all the way up to that sniper position.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was like one of the most intense game experiences I've had.
yeah.
And it was just so beautifully
the setting
done.
was in Chernobyl too, or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, there's
Speaking
one
of-
scene where you're in like a ghillie suit and you have to like crawl on the ground as soldiers are like walking right next to you and stuff. It was just, oh my god, it was so beautifully done.
Yeah, speaking of getting destroyed, we still have to talk about Unreal Tournament, but that can be after.
Oh my god, yes. We have
yeah.
we have something interesting for you guys, but alright, so the way alright, so this is one of those things that like just pains me because I mean it gets to the point where you kind of are picking out games that you don't personally view as art, but it's so subjective that I mean what I don't see as an artistic endeavor or expression, other people do see as such. I mean, there are games that have come out recently.
One man's trashed.
Well, there's been a wave. I can't think of the name. It was like Seaside or something like that, or Oceanside or something like that. That was just like a really weird like experimental game that a lot of people kind of panned. They didn't like it, and it was trying to make a statement, I guess. I don't know a lot about it. I just am familiar with the rhetoric around it, so you'll have to forgive me if... But that any kind of game that tries to really hard to make a political statement or to, you know, do something just for the sake of doing weird stuff, like experimental weird stuff, to be art. Like, if they make a game arty... just to, you know, they're like, oh, this is art, look at my art game, it's a piece of crap and you can't play it, but look, it's art, art, this is art, you can't deny me. It's like when you view modern art, again, it's very subjective, but most people just see a trash can with bunny ears on top of it or something, or whatever it is, you know, they just see what's there.
Yeah, there's
And-
no message, it's just
Right,
the
it's
base,
just...
exactly what the picture is. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's what they're trying to make a statement that
Convey,
nobody
yeah.
gets. And to me, those aren't art, but I'm sure that there are game developers out there who are like, holy crap, this is my holy grail.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the game Gone Home?
I think is that the one I'm thinking of?
It's I haven't played it, but from what I understand of the concept, you're essentially going through a house and just picking up like remnants of either your or the tenant's past.
Yeah, I believe it
lives.
was your
That's-
family that is like
Yeah,
gone, and you're
yeah,
coming home, and
so-
you're like trying to figure out what happened to him. I believe.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like there's no combat or anything. It's essentially just walking around and reading.
Yeah.
But it's just like that would I don't know. It's I think we ended up at the last time where it's just like
An impasse.
how do you define art?
Yes. And again, it's so subjective that you really can't say. I mean, on a personal basis, you can say that's not art. From an objective basis, technically, yeah, it is. I mean, Madden's art in a way because it has art assets and it's got music and a ton of work put behind it. But most people would just be like, it's another sports title. Eh.
Yeah.
So-
I actually think I kind of answered this the wrong way because I was talking about the playing a game rather than the art itself. I think kind of like what Ben was saying. There's even those games that have to be pumped out, yearly basis. There's still art in there, regardless of whether it's just a cash grab or not. Someone
Yep.
had some kind of ability to be able, they had to come up with that and make it look. Exactly. Somebody has to render the butts,
Those perfectly shaped buttocks.
So someone is there's always art in it, whether or not we feel that it should be, you know, what it is like you said, objective. But you can't say it's not. There's just there can't be any side of it to where it's not art because someone had to put in the work to make it what it is, and that's just art. It's always an expression of that personal person that does it themselves. You know how they felt it should.
So
be.
The second question in this part is, this is a little bit more personal, so we can answer this. What are some memories you have of games that changed your mind on games as art, or solidified that games are art? Like, what are some moments that you had that are just in your brain were like, I knew video games were an art form, and this just proves it. I could show anybody that I know this, and they would agree with me 100%.
I would have to say BioShock, but really like the original BioShock. That was just my jaw was dropped the entire way through that game. Just the atmosphere, the characters, the story, how everything was portrayed. That whole concept in itself was just beautifully done and put together, and it was just. But I can't say there's only like one experience because I've never didn't feel like video games were art in itself, because it's just, even in their own right, all games are beautiful, you know, in their own
so there was
twisted,
never
weird
a question
way.
to you?
No, it was never. I never thought, oh, this isn't art. This is just madness. It was always. I was always blown away by everything, whether the simplest graphics, like the very first Mario game, you know, it's not pretty, but it is just amazing. All of it is just so amazing. So much time put into it, and just so much creativity just to come up with any game is, you know, blows my mind, and it's just beautiful.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the first couple times that I was like, when I was younger, when I was like emotionally, I had like an emotional reaction to a video game. The one that first came to mind, and this is going to sound super dorky, but the intro video to Descent 3, where you just like you're like returning to the starbase or something, and your ship's all beat to hell because you just like beat all the aliens or whatever, and they actually just throw that ship into the sun because it's like unsalvageable. And I spent a lot of time playing Descent 1 and 2, and it's just like I had a very significant
bond with
reaction.
that ship.
Yeah, it's like you spent hundreds of hours in that singular ship, and then they just kind of chuck it into the sun.
Jesus.
And I have a similar experience with Wing Commander.
Oh yeah.
One of my first ones, and it's vague in my memory because I mean this was one of the first games that I played. Like Wing Commander games, I had to sneak into my brother's room and get on his PC and play these games. Like it was one of those
Ninja Tim in his gaming days.
Me. So Wing Commander, I remember I was playing it, and your wingmate flies ahead of you and just gets vaporized, and there's nothing you can do, and you're just like, no. like Star Fox, you know. It's like if you know Slippy gets shot
Falco
down, you're like Slippy.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Slippy, maybe Slippy.
Falco, man, Falco. Slippy, I shot her myself when she was flying by.
Slippy was the bee's
I was trying to put
knees.
rounds in her, shut her up.
But I mean,
My
either way, it
photon
just was
torpedoes.
like, it's just like heartbreaking, and it's like one of those moments that you just reflect on. A more modern example for me is definitely BioShock Infinite.
Like that scene, like when I was telling you about the original BioShock, when you meet Andrew Ryan and you find out he's not even the real guy who's, you know, pulling the strings. It was just like,
spoiler alert.
Yeah,
exactly.
spoiler.
Come on, if you haven't played that, I am sorry for you in a crime against God.
I think we're at the point where all the
We're probably
BioShock
at
games
the-
are past the
Yeah, exactly.
the spoiler.
But
if you don't like spoilers, leave
and
now.
that whole scene, like my jaw was just completely down because I was just like, and you're just beating him with that club because it, you know, oh my God, it was just like I was blown away, man. It just came out of left field because would you kindly,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just
And
like,
actually, it's funny because Devious Furball says that was his seminal moment in gaming as well.
God,
so
it was just an incredible experience.
he
every
actually
second.
says, remember Deus Ex, Invisible War, in the protagonist's room at the start there was a basketball you could interact with. He spent 30 minutes messing around with the basketball because he'd never experienced physics in video games before. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that is
awesome.
wicked.
Yeah, I think the first like emotional response that I had from a game was way back in Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy II for that Super Nintendo, where the twins like sacrifice themselves to save the rest of the party. It's just like all of a sudden you realize that those characters are gone and everything that like you can't use them anymore.
Yep.
And it's all spoilers.
Yeah.
But
No,
That's definitely not past the time of spoilers, man. What's wrong with you? It's really
but
messed up.
you're absolutely right, and it's just like for me, it's those emotional moments that really tie you to the games, and that was just like one of those things where you're just like, this is beautiful. I mean, it's heart-wrenching, and it does things that like a book, like a really good book does, or an amazing movie does. It just grips you and just totally twists your sense of, reality from a virtual set of pixels. It's crazy.
And that's what I love about all art, and like even music itself is just
Music, yeah.
It's so amazing how someone can create something that can take you on an emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean? It's just you can feel so many different things just from sounds.
Yep.
Just the way a music, or they can build the story that makes you care for characters that aren't even real, to where you have a physical, emotional bond with these people, and you are genuinely hurt when this kind of stuff happens. And it's just amazing that people can come up with that and write that and make that a possibility. It's just,
definitely.
It's so amazing. It really is.
All right, so what are some things you see in gaming that hinder it from being universally accepted as a form of art?
Stupid
You
people.
didn't prepare me for this one.
Stupid people.
This is going to sound extremely cynical, but I'm going to say money.
Yeah,
Where
that is probably the
people
biggest.
Want something that is accessible enough to make money off of, so they either water it down or just generally make it something that they don't intend to, just so it's more accessible.
Cash grabs, man. I just can't stand them.
Not even necessarily a cash grab, just making it. Okay, the best example I can think of is Spore. Where the concept and the idea for the game was so massive, and I think that, and I can't back this up with anything, but I think the reason why the end result was so poor is because they wanted to make it accessible for enough people to actually sell enough units to make up all the money they've invested. I mean, the game was in development for like 7 years.
Yep. Yep.
And all of a sudden, this game just turned into a watered down, just.
I think Duke Nukem Forever is another example.
So they didn't just stick to their. It was less. So you're saying like when it's less focused on the art itself rather than just trying to make sell as many copies as they can for the amount of time they've put into it.
Yeah, well, they need to recoup their costs. They need to pay the artists, which they should pay their artists.
Yes,
and they worry about money more than they worry about the final product, and that's not necessarily the developers, but just people get on board, like accountants or just some kind of managers, and they're just doing their jobs, but
they're just seeing the money rather than
project.
seeing the money signs rather than what it could be.
To me, it's a lot of it, part of it, and I mean I agree with you a lot on that one, Ben. But part of it for me is shovelware. I mean, you have these people that just it comes back to money. Now, don't get me wrong, but you have people that will make games really fast and just pop it out there for purchase because they're the first to the market or whatever, to try to grab that money. And the game looks terrible, plays terrible, it's not enjoyable, and it's an awful experience all around. And what?
Unity?
Like Assassin's Creed Unity? Yeah, maybe. So there's a lot of shovelware out there. I mean, it was especially bad in the 90s for PC, and it was pretty bad for the Wii. Oh, really bad for the Wii. Sorry.
Well, didn't the same thing happen like in early Nintendo era, where it was just like millions of games were coming out, and it was all
that's
like
why
stuff.
They started doing the Nintendo official seal of approval. Yeah, because so many games were absolute trash. It happened to Atari really bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what scared Nintendo straight on that is they just were like, we're gonna vet these things before we put them out on our console.
Should we talk about the tournament?
Hold on just a minute. We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
We're probably going to go a few minutes over. Is that cool with you, Ben?
I don't care.
Wow, thanks.
So
man.
enthusiastic, yeah.
Whatever,
All right.
guys.
Bottle a little bit of that excitement up. Save it for later.
Devious Furball says the last Tomb Raider was called a commercial flop by the publisher despite selling over 6 million copies. That's pretty...
yeah, that's
That's a lot of
sad.
sales. And that game was beautiful.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
That was hands down the best
And
Tomb Raider
Lara
there
Croft
has
is
ever
quite
been.
the looker.
Oh my gosh, she looks the best in this too. I like the new, more realistic look she has.
Yeah.
I feel it gives more to the character, and it was just a really well done story, and
Yeah.
just, it
It
had
was
good character
fun.
development.
I've even
and
got
it was-
her as a statue up
Yeah.
there on the swag wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch her string.
Wow.
The bowstring, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a real string, actually. Anyways,
That's because
so
he spends the big money. Gets real strings.
All right.
You could shoot a real arrow from it, even.
all right. So on the last part of this topic, all right, we're gonna finish off the games as art because I love discussing this with you, Ben. I really like your perspectives on it. So,
Yeah, it's fun to talk about.
can you give some examples of games you'd love to be held in higher regards as art?
Oh, higher regards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like every game I think that's ever come out. It's like none of them I feel are that revered as art.
No,
I looked at my Steam library.
I think there are some that have been very highly revered for the most part. I mean, look at games like
Yeah.
Journey and Flower. I mean, those are viewed as
Yeah.
beautiful
Mhm.
experience. They're experiences. You
Yeah.
know, they're
Yeah.
they're not mindless time sinks.
But
Yeah.
you're asking about games that aren't currently being.
Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit older generation games that should have been.
For me, the Saboteur. Beautiful
Yeah.
game, beautiful concept. In my opinion, extremely well executed, and the swan song of a company that is no longer with us.
Mhm.
And it's a damn fun game. It has its issues. I mean, my nostalgia goggles overlooks those a little bit, but overall, I mean, the concept was a fairly artistic one. The world is in black and white because it's oppressed. The only thing you see is the red of the Nazi flag, and as you liberate parts of France, color returns to it, which indicates that it's free and able to live, its vivacious, typical life. And it was just absolutely gorgeous in terms of the story and the emotion it drives. I mean, it was just I think it was a damn fun story. So it was really good. So to me, Saboteur is that game.
You, Ben, you got anything?
I'm trying to think of all the old games they used to play. That was a long time ago.
Ben, you're having the George syndrome because I can. I've just played so many, and I just can never remember all of them. And I always I have a couple, but I always just use them because that's what I remember. But there's just so many out there, I can't think of one because I'm sure there's tons that I've played that were really never talked about or anything.
Well, I don't, and I'm going to go back to the Descent series. And I know people liked those games, but aside from just the story, and because it did have a fairly good story up until the third one, and the design direction on it, it was just a very groundbreaking game as regards to mechanics as well. Because they didn't have a 6-degree shooter before. It was all on a 2D plane, or
Right.
very, very straightforward. You couldn't fly up and down at that time. And I mean, I spent probably 3 years of my life playing that game, if not more.
Hey,
Nice.
and that's one of those games that you don't hear very much about, but in reality, I agree that it should be held in high regard. It should be one of those games that's like, in a gallery, hanging up on a wall.
There's actually a studio that bought the rights to it and is trying to reboot it, but I don't know if they're going to do a good job. I haven't looked at it lately, but when I saw their initial Kickstarter, I was very disappointed. So
That's too bad.
yeah.
hopefully they changed it around a little bit, because they could do a whole lot of cool stuff with the current generation.
Oh yeah.
That always worries me when they bring back old titles because I always feel like I'm wondering if they are just doing it purely to sell because of the title itself, with the nostalgia factor selling copies, and if they don't really want to really give the game in that series a justice that it should have.
Yeah,
So
and that's kind of how I felt initially when I saw their Kickstarter. It didn't feel like a Descent game. Like they didn't have any of the classic ships. They didn't have any of the
That's a damn
normal
shame.
stuff. It was like designed around PvP rather than like exploring and clearing out the robots or whatever. But I think that they're planning on changing that. I don't know if because they had a negative response or their marketing team just wasn't very good.
That happens. That happens a lot.
I should check in on that again though.
Devious Furball says, for me, it's Alice Madness Returns. That's a beautiful game.
That is a very amazing...
That is a beautiful game.
That was one of the... That definitely is a one that you didn't hear anything about, and I actually rented it. I think I had it on, like, maybe... What was that? What's that game renting service?
Gamefly?
Gamefly, yeah. I think I might have had it a while back on Gamefly. And it was... I loved it.
I've got it on PC.
It was nice to see Alice in Wonderland, that story, in a very dark, gritty, new way. And they did a great job with all, like, the different dresses she had, depending on the areas that you would go to.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a great game all around.
It had a lot of cool concepts, too, like getting to fight with a knife as Alice. It was just really cool, man. Really cool. I think it was like called like the Vorpal Blade or something, I think it was called. Yeah. Really cool.
All right, so George,
beautiful art style.
Here's your chance. Do you have a game, or do you just want to take a pass on this one?
I'm going to pass.
All right, we can
the
come
games
back
that I like the most are already, well known for
their artistic prowess.
Exactly,
like Super Mario Sunshine and stuff like that. Yeah,
they're all like everyone's already like this was incredible.
Super Mario 3D, Super Mario Galaxy, or Mario Galaxy, all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So good, and like I don't want to go back, but BioShock, everyone already knows that's incredibly gorgeous. And,
all right, so let's get to the matter.
I want to play Super Mario Sunshine now. God, why did you do that? That is a very underrated Mario game, though. For real, a lot of people let it pass, but I had a lot of fun with that.
All right,
anyway,
so Mr. Ben Burns, you and I were talking earlier, and
a little discussion.
I think your ass is writing checks that it can't cash.
It wasn't a direct challenge.
Too late.
That I was better than you at Unreal Tournament.
That's all he was saying. Said he's way better than you at
games.
games.
Saying I suck at games and I should just stop playing.
Die.
So we were talking. We were kind of kicking ideas back and forth, and so we decided that it would be fun to put together a charity stream to have a team versus team
Unreal Tournament.
So we've decided on the field of battle, which is Unreal Tournament 2004, right?
Mostly because it's the only one available on Steam.
Correct.
I don't see 2003 on there.
So there's that. We're gonna play Unreal Tournament. We're both sides. So Mr. Ben Burns and us here at Insert Coin Theater, Tim and George, we are going to gather as many as we can.
Fighters.
We're gonna try to get our hands on some streamers. I'm not sure what Ben's gonna do. Probably cry in a corner.
Sounds like Ben. Sounds like Ben.
1v6, that'll be fine.
He's gonna just like.
But our goal is 2 teams, 6 players, and we're just gonna try to get some people together and actually do a several hours charity stream
and
as we do
some
a
charities,
and help out charity. We're not sure what charity yet. We haven't ironed out all the details, but
how about for the betas?
No, we want to do this. So we want to do this. We're gonna get some folks together. And we're gonna start. You heard it here first that we as Insert Coin Theater accept the challenge, and I would like to
we accept and we shall win.
Raise the clarion call to those streamers who
want to join the ICT army.
We will be reaching out to some of y'all to join us, and we'll all promote, we'll all stream, and we'll
try
kick
to
Ben Burns' badonkadonk.
Try,
but
we got it in the bag.
The rules are simple. We're going to keep this very friendly, even though we're going to trash talk because it's fun.
And that's what you do in every game that's competitive.
First-person shooters is what you do. But the rules are we're going to all be on TeamSpeak in the same channel, so that it'll be very LAN party-esque. So
you can hear me when I'm poning you.
We will all be able to shout at each other just like a LAN party, all in the same room. So that's the idea. And it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. We're going to raise some money for charity, and we're going to do multiple game modes, and the winners of those game modes will get something for some kind of title.
Me as a trophy.
A digital.
That it was a trophy that is George holding a trophy.
Yes, it's a photo of George holding a trophy.
Exactly.
Printed on my inkjet printer.
Exactly, yes. I'll wear whatever you guys want.
Oh, God.
It's about to get real.
A negligee.
Oh, man. Whatever. I'm doing this for charity. All right? So it doesn't
All right.
matter.
So, to those of you watching, just be aware that we are going to be, putting that out there. We're going to start gathering. It might be a month or two before we can really gather all the folks, but we're going to do our best to get the details hammered out, get some graphics made, get some teams together, and then we'll all play some
Have a
Unreal
good
Tournament
time.
together. We'll
Yeah.
do some classic UT 2004. We'll do some Instagib CTF and and some regular CTF.
Game mode ever.
Oh my God, the most frustrating. It lasts forever. And
That's how I felt like was it Zanzibar? No. That one Halo map where we do capture the flag and it's a super huge gulch. You know what I'm talking about?
Blood
It was-
Gulch?
I think Blood Gulch.
It's a super huge gulch? Yeah, Blood Gulch?
Literally, you could spend a day playing
Oh, yeah.
that against one other team because it is
that may be
outrageous.
another stream we have to do at some point. Is the Halo PC, and then we just do Blood Gulch CTF for hours on it.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, so we're gonna run it as long as we can. We're not sure what the time frame. We're literally not sure of anything yet. But we wanted to put that out there so you guys are aware, and we'll be hyping it up as more details come out. And we'll let you guys
as we
know.
iron some stuff out.
And a much thanks to Mr. Ben Burns for
the challenge.
for the challenge and being willing to participate and be half of this. We really appreciate you for that.
Thanks again. Man.
Because that'll be fun. It'll be a good time. And, even if we raise $10 for charity, it's $10 for charity, and that's what's important.
Exactly.
So that's all that matters.
Trophy. So
And a
And
trophy.
everybody gets a me trophy. Well,
Yep.
not everybody. Only the special few.
And,
Dang it, so I only get a trophy of myself if we win. That sucks.
I'll let you have a trophy of me, George.
Thanks, man.
I'm willing to...
No, I want a trophy of Ben holding a trophy.
I'm even willing to take a photo with my phone and text it to you.
Oh, wow.
That could be... You could get digital delivery on that trophy.
Wow. This is amazing. Technology.
So yeah, we'll fill you in, but that is the challenge, and we're gonna make it happen. So we're very excited about that. So, with that being said, we find ourselves. Furball says George has to wear a mankini for the photo.
In. Done. Done.
All right,
I even got the nips to fill it out, too.
so we had one
At least a B
question from Erect and Stiff.
Wow, man, that is...
Said, long-time listener, first-time viewer, this question is for the homunculus in the room.
Is that me?
No. Kiss, marry, or kill? Jasmine from Aladdin, dried up mustard, and week-old cold cuts. It's a valid question. So
Wait,
you
what
start.
is it? What is it?
So which
Kiss,
one?
marry, kill?
Kiss, marry, kill. Jasmine from Aladdin, dried up mustard, week-old cold cuts.
Marry Jasmine, kill the cold cuts, kiss the mustard. Jasmine's got cash, son. I'm in. I need to make bank. She's rich.
I'm a marry Jasmine from Aladdin. I'll kiss the cold cuts. And
They're
I'll
old
kill
cold
the
cuts,
mustard.
man.
The mustard's old too. It's dried
Yeah,
up.
but mustard's just can't ever go bad.
What about
Cold
you?
cuts can go real
What about
bad.
you, Ben?
I have no idea.
He's like,
Can we at least all say we would marry Jasmine? That's just. I'm not gonna marry cold cuts. I'm not gonna marry
I
mustard.
don't know. I like food.
Yeah, but food doesn't make bank.
What if it's been in the fridge? What
He
if I'm
said
really
week
hungry?
old cold cuts.
But week old can still be in the fridge, George.
Yeah, but they can still rot in a week.
Yes, they can, or they could not rot in a week if they're in plastic wrap. It never said
Then
it was
they're
wrapped or not.
poisonous. Then you're having GMO and laced meat with carcinogens, bro. No thanks. I'll stick to the ladies.
All right, I think it's time we wrap up the show with that. So, Mr. Ben Burns,
Yes.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
The end. See you later.
Thank you.
That sentence or was that?
That was it, man. That's
That
all I
was it.
got.
We're done. No. No, but thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah,
we
thanks
really
a lot,
we
Ben.
love
It's always
having
nice
you on the
having you
show.
on here. Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
You bring sanity to our.
you bring light to our dark and dismal lives.
I don't know if I can vouch for that.
Man, that was poetic.
Thank you, man. I read it on a Kraft cereal box. Kraft doesn't even make cereal. Anybody get that? Kraft's macaroni, bro. I like how you all went with it, though. I appreciate
Kraft
it.
owns a company that makes cereal. I
is
guarantee you
it?
that. I don't know,
See,
but I guarantee
you don't
it.
know. You don't know. Anyway, Ben, thanks a lot, man. We really do, for real. I know we've said it multiple times. Thanks for the intro that you made for us.
Yes.
It is amazing. I love your Tron soundtrack for that game. It was awesome.
The Maker's Eden.
Yeah, the Maker's
Act
Eden.
2.
Dos años tienes.
You've got
just great work, man. Thanks.
God, what are all the games that you're into right now? You're into Maker's
Bitbot.
Eden Part 1 and 2, Magbot,
Initiative, Magbot.
Bit
Ink.
Commando.
You said Ink, right, or something like that.
Ink was just for the demo. Like, he used one of my songs that I just have out there for free.
You're still part of it though.
Yeah.
You made that demo amazing. You are the demo.
Yeah, and then there's an unannounced game that's for coming up. That's going to be chiptunes. I'm going to be.
Are you
starting
legally
that.
bound to not tell us about it?
I don't know.
It'd be safer not to. Then.
I don't know where I stand on that yet, so I don't want to make any
Alright.
sweeping announcements.
I wanted more exclusivity. Exclusive to ICT. Anyway, but yeah, it's always a pleasure, like I was saying.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Well, yeah, I'd always want to come back if you wanted to talk more.
Oh, always.
And check out all of Ben's wonderful, wonderful work that he does. Tim will be posting all that fun, schnazzy stuff up there for everyone to check out. And buy all of his stuff. Do it now.
Everything. Go to his website, abstractionmusic.com. Then find his. Oh, what do you host on? Not on SoundCloud. Is the
Bandcamp.
You're on Bandcamp. Go to his
Yes.
Bandcamp link. It's
And
right there.
throw all your money
abstractionmusic.com.
in there.
Click the little button that says to purchase Three Red Hearts, because that's an amazing album.
Yes.
A+. And then when it brings up the little
box,
box, instead of putting a 1 in there, put 1111 and hit enter.
and then times 7.
Yes. Put a multiplier on there.
Yeah.
Most people do like $4.20 or $6.66.
420.
Oh gosh, 666,
Yeah.
man. I'm
666.
sorry.
Super clever like
They're
that.
putting
Super
Satan.
clever.
They're putting Satan on your music. Your music's the devil.
But hey, at least people are donating. You deserve it, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's super cool, and I put my music out there for free because I know a lot of people don't have the funds always to support.
That's us.
those types of people, like artists, and
Mhm.
if people have money to contribute, then I obviously appreciate it. But I'm more interested in letting people just listen to it and enjoy the music.
Yeah,
because-
that's awesome of you to do
Yeah.
that for people, man, because it's great to just be able to listen to your art, And we all are broke, too.
So
Tell me about it.
that kind of wraps it up for us here at Insert Coin Theater. But please, if you enjoyed the show, please hit the follow link. It'll notify you when we go live. I do streaming throughout the week, playing mostly Dirty Bomb, Elder Scrolls Online, but I sprinkle in other games. I do
Like
variety.
Dirty Bomb.
Dirty Bomb sprinkled in with more Dirty Bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of Dirty Bomb lately. It's a great game. I love it. Free to play. You should play it. Everyone should play it. But anyways, hit that follow button. It'll notify you the next time that we are online, and you can come hang out. We'd love to have you, and we really appreciate everybody who came out and watched the show. You guys,
You keep us going. You and Ben. That's the only thing we got left.
it's all we have in life.
The only thing keeping us from just ending it all.
I'm overcome with emotion. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time with all the questions and
love
the
your
crazy
interactions,
people like
guys.
Wolf saying his butt is nice.
Good
Fantastic.
for you, man.
Yeah.
I
Mine's
cannot
great, too.
confirm nor deny that.
Oh, the memories
The memories of your butt?
of Wolf's butt.
Oh, I didn't.
Mm,
That's
whatever.
weird. We
Anyways,
should stop
so,
talking about that.
So we will see you next Monday, minus one Ben Burns, unfortunately.
Oh.
That's all right.
But we'll be back next Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll go until about 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And hopefully we'll have more chiptune music and such for people to listen to and enjoy.
Oh, the Ben stuff.
More Ben music?
Forever.
I'm okay with that.
Well, if you need more, let me know.
Ah, we'll do.
See? Perfect. More
There
Ben
we go. The open-ended offer. You
Yep.
can't sue
You
us
are
for
bound
copyright
now.
infringement.
There is no
all my
escape.
stuff is free to stream. Aside from the soundtracks, which I don't always have the rights for.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
everything I upload online, I make sure to turn off Content ID and that thumbprint system that screws everybody over.
Oh,
So
that's
you
awesome
should,
of you,
should
man.
be free to stream pretty much any of my anything on my library.
Cool. That's much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
So, we're going to go ahead and call it quits, but we will be back next week, and hope to see you around. Have a fantastic